Good day, everyone. Our topic for today ay yung mga crimes against public interest. But since yung chapter na ito is lengthy din, so mag-start tayo or mag-first part muna tayo. Okay, so the first crime or the first article under this chapter is Article 161. So this refers to the counterfeiting the Great Seal of the Government of the Philippine Islands, forging the signature or stamp of the Chief Executive. So ito yung mga punishable acts under this article. The first one ay pineke ng akusado yung seal ng Republika ng Pilipinas, pineke niya yung pirma ng presidente or yung stamp niya. So probably the accused here made it want to appear na yung isang document, yung isang government document ay legitimate. So ginawa niya, finorge niya or pineke niya yung seal, yung signature or yung stamp. So sa government document kasi, pag pineke yung signature ng president, it's not falsification. But Article 161 yung gagamitin natin for that kind of offense. Okay, so Article 162 on the other hand refers to the use of the forged signature or counterfeit seal or stamp. So the elements of this crime are the following. The first one is that the Great Seal of the Republic was counterfeited or the signature of the chief executive was forged by another person. That the offender knew of the counterfeiting or forgery and that he used the counterfeit seal or forged signature or stamp. So ano ba yung pinagkaiba nitong 162 sa previous article? So dito, yung akusado dito, hindi siya yung taong nag-forge. Hindi siya yung pumirma, hindi siya yung gumawa ng stamp. Pero siya yung gumamit noon. Okay, so halimbawa, si Juan at si Pedro. Si Juan yung pumeke ng pirma ng presidente. Now, si Pedro, alam niyang peke yun, ginawa yun ni Juan, pero despite the knowledge, he still used that particular document. Okay, na merong nakalagay na pekeng pirma ng chief executive. So, with that, si Pedro ay magiging liable under Article 162. Okay, so to reiterate ulit, dito, yung akusado sa Article 162, hindi siya yung nameke ng pirma, but siya yung gumamit ng dokumento na may peking pirma, na alam niyang may peking pirma, but still, he used that particular document. Okay, so Article 163 refers to making and importing and uttering false coins. So ito yung elements under this article. The first one is that there be a false or counterfeited coins. Number two, that the offender either made, imported, or uttered such coins, and that in case of uttering such false or counterfeited coins, he connived with the counterfeiters or importers. So, isa-isahin natin. Pag sinabi nating utter, ayan, ito. Pag sinabi nating utter, ito yung akta na pagpasa ng counterfeited coins. Okay, so alam mong counterfeited siya, alam mong peke siya, but still, ginamit mo siya sa mga commercial transactions. So, masasabi nating false or counterfeited yung isang coin kapag it is not authorized by the government as the legal tender. Okay, so pag sinabing legal tender, ito yung mga currency na ginagamit natin dito sa Pilipinas. So halimbawa yung mga existing na coins natin and yung mga banknotes na meron tayo. Okay, so counterfeiting rather means the imitation of yung genuine coin, even though it may contain also yung mga silver or gold like that of an ordinary coin. So kung um, halimbawa meron kang token, no? Yung token na ginagamit sa mga yung sa SM ganyan. So 'di ba parang silver din siya, it appears like a coin na ginagamit natin on a daily basis. Now if you use that particular item and made it appear that it is a legal tender, it is a currency in the Philippines, even though rather na alam mo na hindi naman siya currency. And intention mo siyang ginamit na parang bumili or ginamit mo as pamasahe, then you will be liable under this particular article. Okay? So, Article 164, on the other hand, refers to the mutilation of coins. Ito yung mga punishable acts under this article. The first one is mutilating coins of the legal currency with a further requirement that there be intent to damage or to defraud another. Number two, importing or altering such mutilated coins with a further requirement that there must be connivance with the mutilator or importer of said uh, importer in case of altering. Okay, so pag sinabi natin mutilation, ito yung pag-diminish ng ingenious means the metal in the coin. So the coin must be also a legal tender. So basically yung mga coins ng foreign currency are not included. So halimbawa dito, this parang news talaga to ha. Yung 10 pesos inalis nila yung nasa gitna. Okay, so that's an example of mutilating coin. So I remember also when we were kids, even yung mga cents, no, parang fina-flat nyo siya or biniburn mo siya para gawing sipa. That's also an example of mutilation of the coins. Okay, so Article 165 refers to the selling of false or mutilated coin without connivance. So here, ito yung mga punishable acts. First ay possession. Meron kang coin counterfeited or mutilated by another person with intent to utter the same, knowing that it is false or mutilated. So, yung elements natin, una, hawak mo, physical possession. At the same time, may intent ka na ipasa, na gamitin ito. And lastly, meron kang knowledge. Alam mo na counterfeited or forged yung coin na yon. Number two, actually uttering such false or mutilated coin, knowing the same to be false or mutilated. So yung elements niya, ginagamit mo siya sa mga usual transaction. And pangalawa, alam mo, you have the knowledge na yung coin na ginagamit mo ay actually mutilated or forged. Okay, so Article 166 refers to forging treasure. Tama ba? Forging treasury or treasury to. Forging treasury or banknotes or other documents payable to bearer, importing and uttering such false or forged notes and documents. So, sa negotiable instrument law kasi, sa mga commercial transactions, especially, halimbawa sa cheque, may nakalagay doon payable to Juan de la Cruz. So, that's payable to bearer. But at the same time, meron din payable to Juan de la Cruz or to his order. So, that's payable to order. So, ano ba yung punishable acts under this article? Yung una ay forging or falsification of treasury or banknotes or other documents payable to bearer. Pangalawa ay importation of such false or forged obligation or notes. And number three, uttering of such false or forged obligation or notes in connivance with the forgers or importers. So, of course, yung halimbawa na dito, yung pamimeke ng mga bills, Philippine bills natin. No? So, yung mga 1,000, 500, pinapeke nila through different ways. Yung iba, binabago yung serial number. Or may way sila or may machine sila para gumawa ng sarili nilang notes. At the same time, halimbawa yung lotto ticket, that is an example of an obligation. No, so there's actually a case in which yung akusado dito, yung lotto ticket, pinago nila yung mga numbers para it will appear na sila yung nanalo. That's also a violation under this particular article. Okay, so Article 167, ito yung counterfeiting, importing and uttering instruments not payable to bearer. So like what I've said a while ago, sa commercial transactions may be either payable to bearer or payable to order. So ito yung elements niya, that there be an instrument payable to order or other documents or credit not payable to bearer, that the offender either forged, imported, or uttered such instrument that in case of uttering, he connived with the forger or importer. So Article 167 refers primarily to commercial document. So here, the offender knows that the banknote, yung mga documents na yon ay falsified. So mere possession without proof of knowledge on the falsified note cannot be prosecuted. Okay, so dapat meron siyang knowledge na yung commercial document na yon is falsified. Kasi if possession lang without knowledge of it, without intent of using it, cannot be held liable under this particular article. K168 refers to illegal possession and use of false treasury or banknotes and other instruments of credit. So the elements niya, that any treasury or banknote, certificate of or other obligation and security payable to bearer or any instrument payable to order or any other document of credit not payable to bearer is forged or falsified by another person, that the offender knows that any of those instruments is forged or falsified, that he performs any of the following acts using any of such forged or falsified instruments, possessing with intent to use any such any of such forged or falsified instrument. So here, possession of false treasury or banknotes alone is not a criminal offense. For it to constitute a violation of this article, the possession must be with the intent to use the said documents, said notes or said vouchers, so said security documents. Now, a person in possession of falsified documents and who make use of the same is presumed under the law na siya yung gumawa, siya yung may author ng pagpamemeke ng document na yon. Okay, so at this, to reiterate lang din natin, mere possession of the false money or bill without intent to use it to the damage of another person is not liable under this article. Um, una po, yung mga points na kailangan natin i-highlight under this article, mere possession without intent, without knowledge na yung document na yon ay falsified is not punishable under this article. Pangalawa, kung ikaw ay in possession of that particular document and you are caught na ginagamit mo siya sa mga commercial transactions mo, then there is a presumption na ikaw yung namemeke ng document or ng notes or ng security na yon. Okay? So, Article 170 refers to falsification of legislative document. So here, that there be a bill, resolution, or ordinance enacted or approved or pending approval by either the House of the Legislature or any provincial board or municipal council. That the offender alters the same, that he has no proper authority therefore, and that the alteration has changed the meaning of the document. So halimbawa, hypothetically, no, let's say na merong bagong batas sa Congress na nag-a-approve ng divorce. So ikaw, against ka doon. So before the third reading, alam mong i-approve yon ng majority ng members ng House, inalter mo yung document. So let's go to Article 171, which is the falsification by public officer, employer, or notary public, or ecclesiastical minister. So the elements of the offense are the following. The first one is that the offender is a public officer, an employer, or a notary public, that he takes advantage of his official position. And number three, that the falsified a document by committing any of the following acts. The first one is counterfeiting or imitating any handwriting, signature, or rubric. So, let's say, uh, ang accused kasi under this article are only public officers. So, halimbawa, sa isang department, kinakailangan ng pirma ng isang private individual and hindi nila nakuha yung signature na yon. Now, what the accused did is to just forge the signature para compliant sila doon sa protocol ng document and protocol ng department. Then, that's a violation of this article. Now, imitation of another signature need not be perfect. Okay, so it is necessary only na una, there be an intent, there is an attempt, an intent uh, to falsify or to forge the document, and that the two signatures or handwritings are like similar or have some resemblance. Okay, second one is causing it to appear that a person have participated in any act or proceeding when they did not in fact so participate. So here, halimbawa yung isang public officer may isang document tapos finorge niya yung pirma ng isang tao. So, yung pag-forge niya and yung pirma ng isang tao, completely hindi sila similar. So, dito siya papasok. Kasi it would appear na pinapakita ng public officer na yon na yung taong pineke niya. Okay, so the third one is attributing to persons who have participated in an act or proceeding statements other than those in fact made by them. So halimbawa nagkaroon ng meeting sa isang department and then yung naggagawa ng minutes, may mga nilagay siya even though hindi naman yun sinabi ng mga participant. That's also a violation of this article. Number four, making untruthful statements in a narration of facts. Halimbawa, sa isang document, sinabi nung mayor na nag-provide sila ng ganitong klaseng tulong sa mga beneficiaries even though wala namang ganong pinalabas. So, violation din yon. Number five, altering true dates. So, sa mga transactions, sa mga transactions, binago nila yung mga date para magmukha na legitimate yon. So, violation din po yon. Number six, making any alteration or intercalation in a genuine document which changes its meaning. Number seven, issuing in an authentic form a document purporting it to be a copy of the original document when no such original document exists. Number eight, intercalating any instrument or note relative to the issuance thereof in a protocol, registry, or official book. So basically, yung article na to, ito shows sa yung mga acts na ginagawa ng mga public officer kung saan nagpa-falsify sila ng mga documents to make it appear na legitimate yung mga transactions or legitimate yung mga actions na nangyayari within their particular office or departments. Okay, so Article 172, on the other hand, this refers to falsification by private individuals and the use of falsified documents. So, yung sa Article 171, no, um, the accused doon ay mga public officers, mga notary public. Um, on the other hand, sa Article 172, ito naman yung mga falsifications made by the private individuals. So ito yung mga punishable acts under this article: falsification of public, official, or commercial document by a private individual, falsification of private document by any person, and use of falsified document. So here, the offender should not be a public officer, employer, or notary public. The document falsified must be public, official, or commercial, and that. Okay, so Article 173 refers to the falsification of wireless, cable, telegraph, and telephone messages and the use of said falsified messages. So, yung punishable acts under this article ay yung pagpapasa, pag-a-utter ng fictitious wireless, telegraph, or telephone messages, pag-falsify ng mga messages na yon, at paggamit ng mga messages. So, as you may know, yung Revised Penal Code is already a very old law. Kaya some articles somehow hindi na siya ginagamit sa ngayong situation. Kasi for this particular article, yung mga akusado dito ay yung mga empleyado or officer of an institution engaged in the service of sending or receiving wireless, cable, or telephone messages. So, a sample case here is kapag, di ba dati, pag magpapasa or pag mag-send tayo ng messages, hindi pa through phones, hindi pa through chats. May mga telegraphs, phone, yung mga beeper dati. So, halimbawa, yung isang tao, magsasend siya ng message. And yung pag-send mo ng message na yan, ang bayad niyan is per word. So, kung halimbawa, yung nag-ooperate ng telegraph na yon ay binawasan yung words, sinamarize niya yung message without the consent of the person who sent it para yung bayad na yon, yung sobra sa bayad na yon na pa sa kanya, the person who process that particular message will be liable under this article. Okay, so Article 174, this refers to the falsification of medical certificates, false certificates of merits of service, etc. So, yung mga persons liable dito ay yung mga physicians na nag-issue ng false med cert, yung mga public officers din na nag-issue ng certificate of merit, of good standing. And number three, of course, yung mga private individuals who falsified certificates, medical certificates, and certificate of merit or service. So, pag halimbawa yung mga empleyado na nagpa-falsify ng mga medical certificates para hindi maging ma-excuse sa trabaho. So, and then they forged the signature of the physician, then that employee may be held liable under Article 174. Okay, so of course, Article 175, ito naman yung paggamit ng certificate na yon. So after falsification, ginamit mo siya for your benefit. That's a violation under this particular provision. And Article 176, of course, is the manufacturing, importing, and possession of instruments or implements intended for the commission of the falsification. So, yung punishable acts, una ay making or introducing into the Philippines any stamps, dies, marks, or other instruments or implements for the counterfeiting or falsification. And number two, possessing with intent to use the instrument or implement for the counterfeiting or falsification made in or introduced into the Philippines by another person. Here, ito yung mga pag-import or pag-possess ng mga instruments. Halimbawa, yung mga metals, yung mga stamps, yung mga papel, yung mga inks na ginagamit uh, for the sake of falsifying documents will be liable under this particular article. So that ends the first part. Thank you and have a good day.